It's Monday night at 7 o'clock, and it's Knightline Live. I'm Jerry Middleton. Along with me is Rick Fletcher. And Rick, we have got a show tonight, something that we have not normally done.
Well, we're taking a little turn, okay?
Yeah.
Normally we talk all about sports, and we'll do that most of the time. But here's what I was thinking, Jerry. I was searching online, and I noticed there was an FFA meeting in Indianapolis, which they do, and I've been to Indianapolis before. And when the FFA convention, which is a huge deal, let me tell you, a lot of kids from all over, wherever they come from, we'll learn more about that there. And I thought, this is a farming community. We have an FFA chapter here. I don't know a whole lot about it, so we're going to bring in some FFA folks.
And FFA is near and dear to my heart.
Well, I know your kids were part of that,
because Alexis was a past El Presidente.
Okay.
And she went to Purdue, agriculture, and then she's at NC State right now finishing up her master's, getting ready to start her PhD.
Yeah, wow.
Ag. So, and it all started here. And it all started because of a teacher, which was Jason Roll, got her interested in it, and that's how it's taken off. So, if you don't believe teachers have influence for a positive way for the kids, they do. And we're going to talk to one of those influencers in a little bit.
In a little bit, we're gonna have a whole segment, and again, it's going to be one of those things. I'm going to learn a lot. Okay. In the years since we've been doing this, Jerry, we've learned a lot about archery, about wrestling.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's our turn to learn about FFA. At least for me. Now, I know you're familiar with it. You're a farmer, or I know you have horses.
Oh, you have horses. That's not farming. We employ the farmers for making hay.
Oh, all right.
We burn it.
You pay the farmers.
We pay the farmers for the hay.
But anyways, this is a big farming community. As well, Indiana is a big farming state.
Absolutely.
A big part of the agriculture. So we're going to take a little bit of a turn. It's going to be fun and enjoyable. And I want to learn something, and hopefully you guys at home, you can learn something too. Maybe a lot of you already know about it.
Yeah.
But what else we got going on?
We got some wrestling going on tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night. If you have a chance, the wrestling season is upon us. Okay,
It started.
They're kind of still in their preseason mode. But if you're in Williamsburg tomorrow at 6:30, they're having a green and gold scrimmage amongst themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And get out there. It'll be a chance to meet some of the wrestlers, see what they've got going on in their program. Just a good opportunity. We'll have some wrestling on our airwaves here as season goes on.
Yeah, and you want to get out there, because I'll tell you what, there's a few wrestlers that might go a long, long way in the state tournament.
Well, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
It really would. We had quite a few go to the semi-state last year.
Yeah.
Didn't have anybody make it through to the state tournament in Indianapolis, but we're thinking that there's somebody on that squad, maybe multiple people. Maybe they'll have a chance to get there this year. We'll see what happens. But wrestling, Jerry, is a lot of fun. If you've ever been to a wrestling meet, if you never have, you got to go.
Absolutely.
Okay? If you go, the crowds are boisterous. They're supportive. The coaches are engaged on every match. When sometimes there's multiple matches going on. When you get to like a sectional or like a Tri-Eastern Conference Championship or regional matches, there's a lot of activity and a lot going on. And wrestlers, these guys are athletes. These not just guys, it's ladies and gentlemen. They are true athletes because it takes a lot.
Those each round is brutal.
Oh, sure it is.
Yeah.
And then it hurts. I gotta tell you, I see how these wrestlers, they get stretched out sometime going through their match, and I'll tell you what, it takes a lot to get through a match, and a lot of technique involved. It's not just brute strength.
Oh yeah, that's right. In the lower weight classes, have a lot more technique, and then the heavyweights is, well, it's brute strength.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, so you watch the heavyweights for a different reason than you watch like the smaller weights. In the smaller weight classes, it's a lot of quickness. It's a lot of technical racing.
Yeah.
Racing. Did I say racing?
Yeah.
Wrestling. Excuse me. So you get that going on with the smaller weight classes. And like you say, when the brutes come out and the big guys come
Yeah.
out, it's you get some athleticism.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a lot more strength at that weight class. So tomorrow night, 6:30 is the start time, and Coach Todd Kroll, this is his first year at the helm.
Yes.
So he's putting together that program over there. Go out and support the kids. Let them know that you're happy to be there and chat with them and see how they're doing, and it'll be a good activity for you.
Now, our next bit, after we go to break, we're going to have the FFA on.
Right.
And then we're going to come back. We're going to talk, well, boys basketball had 2 games last week, won both of them.
Yeah,
And we'll recap those.
Yeah, they got started. It's interesting with boys basketball this year. We're going to get into it. I think you and I were discussing before the game, before last Wednesday night. Didn't know really what to expect. Saw them in their scrimmage against Delta. Delta's going to be a good team. They're always a competitive team, and I thought they looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about the games against Seton and Monroe Central, and maybe what to expect. They got some games coming up. They're big games early in the season. We'll talk about that. But pleasantly, I'm going to say this. I'll put a little teaser out there. For me, I was pleasantly surprised by what I saw.
Well, I agree with that. I think things look pretty good. And then, the girls basketball now, they only had 1 game this week,
Right.
and they beat Monroe Central handedly.
Yeah.
And but with them, they're on a little winning streak right now. They're 4-2.
Yeah, and they've got a tough game coming up.
Big game
So-
tomorrow. We'll discuss that
We'll
when we get to that.
We'll discuss that. But with the girls, I think you're seeing flashes of what they can be.
Absolutely.
And, really a lot of talent there, Jerry, on that girls basketball team. Sometimes it takes a bit just to get it all going in the same direction. That's normal with adults, let alone
Yeah.
high school kids.
Yeah.
So really, I think, we'll see. We're still young in the season. I mean, with everything, still young in the season. So they'll have some tests coming up, and we'll see how they do. But we'll talk about that more. And we've got video,
Videos
interviews,
too. Yeah.
all with boys and the girls. And so we'll do that. Lot going on.
Well, we're going to be. We'll take a quick break
Right.
here, and when we come back, we'll have
A full couch.
the president and the person trying to start a coup to overthrow the El Presidente, and then the teacher of the FFA. We'll be back after these messages on Knightline Live. At Kate's Family Eye Care, we value a family-friendly atmosphere, offering high-quality eye exams. Our expert staff utilizes the latest techniques in eye care. We have a large selection of affordable glasses that are unique to our area. We are proud supporters of the Northeastern Knights and wish all the teams the best of luck.
Go Knights!
13,000 feet has a way of testing a man's soul. After all, you were never meant to take on such an endeavor. That long drop is what separates human from superhuman. That fear is the only enemy, the only thing keeping you from feeling that power in your bones. And here we are, right here, right now. Let's fly.
You're good at motivation, we're good at your insurance. Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance and stop knocking on wood.
KOA exit 151A, registration in the general store. It's a family-owned campground with pull-through parking for RVs or travel trailers with full hookups. Rent a cabin, relax at one of the fire pits, or picnic by the pond. A playground for the kids, or get in around the golf before dinner. Take a water-soaking hayride, lay out by the pool, and then take a dip.
Do you have a big event coming up soon? Dejo Photos has you covered. Check us out on Facebook. We are professional photographers who strive to capture all of your special moments, such as family portraits, senior photos, live action sports, graduations, and so much more. If you don't think photos are important, wait until they are all you have left. Contact us via email at info@dejophotos.com or call us at 765-277-0047. Dejo Photos, capturing memories one photo at a time.
Coming together every day to make a difference for you, for me, and everyone in between. Because at Dot Foods, when we celebrate each other's differences and work together to make the community a better place, we become great together. At Dot Foods, what matters to you matters to us, where communities matter. Dot Foods.
Welcome back to Knightline Live, and we now have in the house FFA, and I know what it used to stand for, and it's just FFA now. It's no longer Future Farmers of America, it's just FFA. But we are so happy to have y'all in the house tonight, and Rick, why don't you do introductions?
All right, so we've got Emma Gentry, right? And Nolan Drake's no stranger around here. I think he gets more FaceTime than you and I, Jerry. That's Nolan. And Allison McCummins, right? Is that correct? So you're the teacher. Let's start with you, Allison. Okay, so when we were off air, I asked, okay, I don't know anything about FFA. That's what I'm starting with, my base knowledge, 0, okay? So my hope is we, after talking with you guys, get a little more knowledge about what it's all about. I know it's about farming, okay? That's about as far as I go. But you were telling me it used to be Future Farmers of America. But you said there's a story behind that. So go ahead and tell us what that story is.
So when FFA was created and chartered in 1928, that's when it stood for Future Farmers of Americas, because in the 20s it was only men and they were farmers, and so that's what they had that focus around. And then as history changed and evolved, FFA did the same with history. And so in 1965, African Americans were merged with the FFA, and then in 1969, women then were allowed to join. And then finally in 1988, the organization finally said there's a lot more broaden on the chapter in the organization, and so they decided to change the name from Future Farmers of America to just the National FFA Organization, signifying that you don't necessarily have to be a farmer to be an FFA, and it's for everyone.
All right, so give me a little bit of your background. What brought you to you're an agricultural teacher, I think, right?
Yes.
So tell us your background. What brought you to being an ag teacher?
So I'm originally from Ohio.
We don't hold that against you.
I've got Michigan, Ohio State.
We don't need to bring that up. We don't need to bring that
But
up.
anyway,
Okay.
that's a side point. All right.
So I was involved in the agriculture industry from my whole life. My parents grew up on dairy farms. My mom grew up on a Jersey dairy farm. My dad on a Holstein dairy farm in Michigan.
How painful is that?
just a bit. It's all right. And so ever since I could walk, by the start of age of 4, I was showing cows and everything. So that's just dairy cattle has been a part of my whole life. And so I knew going into high school that I wanted to be an FFA and everything. And as I got more involved throughout my 4 years of high school, I finally realized that I wanted to be a teacher. And then there was an agriculture education through the influence of my ag teachers.
Okay.
That's what they had on me.
Now, if you grew up on a dairy farm, just a lot of milking time, a lot of work to do on a dairy, very labor intensive.
Yes.
Have you spent time in the milk room, milking the cows?
Yes, so when my parents got married, we didn't actually own a farm, so we actually, through friends and everyone, we would lease animals and we would show, but, we would go over and do chores and everything with them. And then in high school, I started milking on a farm. And yes, it is very, very labor intensive. Early mornings, late nights, twice a day.
Sometimes 3 times a day.
Yes, depending on the size of the herd.
Yeah.
3 times a day.
So where'd you go to college then, as far as that education to bring you into a teacher's spot?
So I decided to go to Wilmington College.
Yes.
I actually got into 4 different schools. I actually got into Purdue, University of Kentucky, and then Ohio State ATI over in Worcester. But Wilmington just felt like home. It was the atmosphere that I had in high school. It felt one-on-one. The class sizes were small, and it was very hands-on, which is what agriculture education thrives on. When you're a freshman in the ag classes there at Wilmington, one of the labs is you get to have your own calf, and you halter break it and everything else. And we do all sorts of labs with the animals in the farm down there. And then on the education side of it, they put you in the classroom your first year. So you essentially are in the classroom all 4 years of your college career there. So that way you get the sense of, do you want to be a teacher or not? And so you figure it out right away.
All right, Nolan. My understanding is you are the local president. Is that correct? How did you get to be president? Now everybody knows Nolan. He's been around for 100 years. The old part of the Drake clan, the royal family. I like to call the Drakes because they're involved. They've been involved in everything here. So how did you get involved in FFA? I know you grew up on a farm. So.
Yeah. So my dad, he had a swine farm.
Yeah.
He had it when he was young. And then on my mom's side, we had cattle. Mm-hmm. So I was just on the farm all the time. And I knew that I wanted to be an agricultural. I just don't know what I want to 100% be right now, but it's something agricultural.
Right. So how did you get involved? Is it just a natural progression to get involved in FFA? Tell us about your experience. Have you been doing it since you got as a young freshman? Or?
So 6th grade, I believe, is when I got involved. But it wasn't just me. It was Anna being in FFA, Kelly being in FFA.
Right.
And my grandpa being the Indiana state president. I forget when the year was. But
no pressure, right?
Yeah, no pressure. So they really wanted me to get involved, and I wanted to as well.
What are some of the things that you've learned through FFA? That you can bring out to? So what are a couple of major things that you've learned?
One's for sure confidence. That's an easy one. Getting just talking to people, knowing how to talk to people. When I went to national convention, you're talking to a bunch of people. I know people from all the way from Washington to Iowa to Alabama to Michigan. It's just everywhere you go.
So it's a lot more than just milking cows and harvesting the crop, right? I mean, you get like life skills, people skills, and life skills. So you're actually going to Purdue. I mean, we've heard that before from you for something agricultural, right? What's your interest there?
Just.
Do you want to be a farmer?
Yeah, that's the end result that I'll be a farmer.
All right. So you mentioned your dad's been a pig farmer.
Oh yeah.
And your grandfather, I'm assuming your mom grew up on a cattle farm.
Yep.
So what's your interest? It's got to be animals, or
it's
definitely.
There's
a lot of different ways you can go, right?
There's
I mean, it's not a lot of different ways.
For sure, animals. I'd like swine and cattle. That's for sure, and crop farming.
Okay. All right, Emma, let's go with you. You were the one that wanted to kick Nolan out of the prison. We were encouraging that.
That's what I heard. I heard that, Rick.
Yep. That's when Nolan wasn't here yet, so but it's probably not going to happen tonight. So tell us about how you started your involvement with FFA, and why would somebody want to be in FFA? Why don't you tell us that if you can? I know I'm putting you on the spot, right?
Well, FFA, I went to Ag Day, and that's what all started. I wanted to be just like the kids there, teaching little kids how to see the animals, what it was all about, and everything. And I grew up in 4-H, so
Okay.
I show horses and pigs in 4-H, and I've been around animals and everything. And the teachers really help,
Encourage you.
encourage me to be better and be in the contests that FFA has for you to.
So let me ask you. I've always wondered this, okay? Because I see the county fairs, and it's they're 4-H fairs is what is. The first question I have: is there a natural progression between 4-H and FFA? Is there a connection there, or is it a formal, informal connection? Because a lot it's agricultural stuff, or is it just
I'm not really sure. I know FFA is with the school,
okay?
and 4-H is a different organization.
Kind of
it
like
is
a
not-
county organization or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. All right, so let me ask you about, here's what I've always wondered, the competitions,
Yeah.
all right? Are they intense? Tell me
Oh,
how
yeah,
they
very
are.
intense, very intense. So I do what's called Livestock Skillathon, and it's one of the easier contests. It's like taking a big test over livestock equipment, livestock breeds, medicine labels, and all that. And you don't have to do any talking or anything. And then there's also livestock judging, where you actually judge the animals and do all that, and talk to a judge and say how, what your reasonings for judging the animal that way.
Is there any trash talking going on between participants? I don't know.
Probably, I don't know.
You're not involved.
I'll tell you, where trash talking comes in is when you when you get into soils and and trees or forestry.
Yeah.
That's where the trash talk comes in.
Oh wow! See, I don't know anything about this, Jerry. I know you kind of grew up with this.
But there is there's soil judging. And then there's forestry, which a lot of talk about which different trees and all that stuff there. And then I know there's livestock judging, and then there's also horse judging. And I hear you have horses. My deepest condolences, at least to your parents, because we have still 2 horses, and I have no kids.
left over.
Now go figure that. But still feed them things. The dogs bark at them and wake me up. But anyway, so
Therapy starts at 7:30.
therapy. So, what other competitions are there? I know there's another one where you write a paper, almost like a thesis, talking about running a agricultural business or something.
So that is the essay contest,
Yes.
and that is what Indiana FA considers an LDE, which is a leadership development event. And so your LDEs are focusing on those softer skills, the people skills essentially. So that's your public speakings, your demonstrations, ag sales, the essay contests, everything along those lines. That is what the LDEs are, and then your CDEs, your career development events, are the livestock judging, dairy judging, forestry, soils judging. Those are different contests that could lead into careers for kids to do.
Is there, does FFA, or through the organization, I'm assuming there's a national organization and you're a sub-chapter or chapter or whatever, are there scholarship opportunities? Tell us about that, Alice.
Yeah, so scholarships, there's plenty of them. The National FFA organization, they typically kind of do what is the common app for colleges. It's typically just one application, and then you kind of just pick and choose which ones you want to apply for, and then they just kind of hand them out through that. And then there's also state FFA scholarships, and then depending on on the local level, sometimes they'll give out scholarships as well.
Now, I know that through the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, that you, as a under 18 years of age, can actually get a farming loan up to $5,000. It's like a 2.5% interest rate. And one of their big factors is, have you been an FFA? And that's a big deal. And my son, he did that. Had a hay baling business that he did for 4 years while he was here, and it was amazing to me the amount of people that he went to buy equipment from, and they're like, "What are you going to do?" So I don't have a hay baling business. And the farmers. Now this is big to me. This shows me how gracious the farmers really are, because they'd be asking $3,000 for a piece of equipment, and they'd be like, $2,000 to work if that's what you're going to do. And to me that was big, because that put him in business. And for 4 years he baled hay, custom square baled, and I mean, well, you know what that's like. That is brutal work. And but they did that. But that's out there, and that's part of the FFA and USDA. It allows that to happen, and which is really a wonderful thing. And then other farmers get involved in it. It's really good. So, with your horses, do you do anything as far as FFA with your horses, or just all 4-H?
So I have what's called an SAE over equine.
What does that mean?
SAE.
Yeah, is that a
supervised agricultural experience?
Okay.
Yep.
Remember, I'm uninitiated. Okay.
So my label is an equine placement. So I record all my data over, like, how I take care of my animals, how long it takes, and all that. And I feed, I ride, I exercise, do all that stuff, and I record it all on paper, and we put it into this, like, app thing. And that's what our SAE was what got us to get our Hoosier degree.
Yes.
And there's 4 degrees that you get, and I'm on my 3rd one, and the next one is the last one.
So my head is spinning right now. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to. I know with horses. I know people with horses, and it's not a part-time job. I mean, you got to pay attention. Which I want to ask you, Nolan. There's a business side to farming. Okay, it's not just going out either baling hay or getting the crops in. FFA, do they expose you to that business side? You got to make a profit. Okay, are you exposed to that at all, or?
For FFA, yeah, there's some contests that'll get you involved in that.
Do you use real time, like corn prices, or or how does that work?
It's not like that exact minute.
Okay.
But they'll copy and paste the latest prices.
And people don't understand.
It's always changing.
Farming is a volatile business.
Oh, very volatile.
And my father-in-law is a farmer, and they sold corn the other day for $4.80 a bushel. The next day it dropped to $4.30.
Oh yeah.
Now when you're talking tens of thousands of bushels at 50-cent difference, that's a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so volatile. How much it changes and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's a great question about.
Well, I know. They have to not only just watch their pennies, but you watch the markets. I mean, it's a big thing, not only in grains, but in milk. I'm assuming it's the same thing. Or,
that's another one.
Then feed prices change, and we have inflation going on, and supply chain issues. All that stuff affects the farmer, which affects the price of that egg that gets to your breakfast on, tomorrow morning.
When you think about it, farming is the backbone of America.
Oh, it's basically the base of.
If you want to eat, you better hope someone out there's growing it.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
I want to ask, and whoever wants to answer, you guys have a convention. I'm assuming it's annually. Is that correct? Indianapolis, so it's nice and close. Hopefully, it'll stay there. You bring a crew there, Allison. How many kids did you have go?
We had 12, 14 kids
Okay.
go the whole week, and then we. Kevin Cool is the new ag teacher. Co-teaching with me, and so we decided to bring on Thursday of the convention a group of kids over. There was about 4 high schoolers, and then I think probably 9 or so middle schoolers that went, so that way they could get exposed to the greatness of National Convention and seeing all the people, listening and sitting in on the sessions, listening to guest keynote speakers, and just seeing what different projects and contests we do at the local level, they could potentially do them at the national level. So it's hoping to spark that interest when we brought those day kids over, and then even for the kids that went the whole week, it was it's something new each year.
Well, and they also have a great concert.
There is some fun going on, right?
I mean, hey, a few years ago, Garth Brooks was there. That's big time.
Kind of jealous.
Yeah, I was in
Wasn't
college when Garth Brooks was playing, and I could have gone to that, and I'm kicking myself in the butt.
My kids said that when he came out on the stage, that place went berserk. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of these blue jackets with their states on the back and so forth. It's really quite a sight.
Well, yeah, it's like a gang. I mean,
It kind of is.
because I've been in downtown Indianapolis when the FFA convention is there, and there's kids from all over, and they, what state is on the back of their jacket. What do you get out of? You've been to the convention, so knowing, what do you get out of these conventions, or what do you hope to get out of these conventions? Or is it just one big party, get out of school?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. No, you get a lot of new relationships. You'll be talking to people from everywhere, and that's cool. You'll be learning such random things, like things you'd never think about learning. At the expo hall, there's just brands and brands everywhere. There's John Deere at one corner, and then Wrangler jeans in the other corner, and they'll just tell you facts about their company, and you're just like, why don't I know this right now? And they're offering you jobs left and right if you want it.
And you never know when you're going to have to talk to a corn farmer in Iowa, right? I mean, maybe that connection will get you there. So, boy, I tell you, Jerry, we could go on for another segment again. We could go on for an hour, and we'll probably have to have you guys back on again because. One thing you mentioned John Deere. We see those tractors going down the road, and especially this time of year. They're not cheap.
No, they're not.
I mean, there's some money involved with, especially some of the bigger farms with tractors and all their equipment and milk parlors if you're a dairy farm, and that type of thing. What I know about farmers is if you're going to be a farmer, you have to be a farmer. All right, that's what you're doing. Okay, that's what your life is. It's a lifestyle as well as a way to make a living. Is that accurate, Emma? Okay.
And never let them tell you they paid for the hat, because that never happens.
Well, there's a lot of vendors around with these conventions. They have all kinds of free hats.
Got it for free.
There you see. There you go.
What can I say?
I love it.
He's learning that business skill. Whatever I can get for free, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, well, again, I have a soft part in my heart for FFA. I think it's a great organization. I think it's a great thing that everybody's doing, and it's wonderful to keep the family farming going as a tradition, and it's very good. It's been good to me and my family, so it's a wonderful thing.
Appreciate you guys coming.
Thank you.
Like I said, we'll have to do this again. I think we've only scratched the surface, in the 15 or 20 minutes that we've had here, so we'd love to have you back. Again, we're not bouncing a ball or doing that type of thing, but I felt this was important because this is a farming community. All right, it's big. This is the business of Fountain City is farming, So let's hear from the people who are involved in it. So I thought that would be a good thing to
and
do.
We also have 2 contests coming up in the next 2 weeks. A new one, some kids are doing the welding contest, so that's a career.
Oh, yes.
A career that some of the kids can go into, a pathway there. It can lead them to go to Winchester or Lincoln or anything else like that for that. And then we also have state forestry. That's going to be at Purdue December 9th, and we have 3 teams going. And
Wow.
so it's...
And I think you have somebody, we put a shout out to this guy, that comes in and helps with the forestry.
Yes.
It's a wonderful individual, and he is a great resource.
Oh, yes.
Amazing.
And
Yes.
if you'd like to mention his name.
Yes, Dave Burgess, he is the one that helps coach our forestry teams, and he does a phenomenal job with them. He has so many tips and tricks for the kids to help remember all the different leaves and all the different components of the contest. And so he is the main drive behind those teams getting to do the contest. Our high school team won the area contest, and so they're going to state. Our second team, I think, got 3rd or 4th. They're going to state as well. Our middle school team, they got 2nd or 3rd, and so they're going to state as well. And we had
Wow.
2 individuals, one from the high school and middle school, that individually won the contest. And
Wow.
it was because of their study skills and Burgess that they were able to do that.
Which the study skills they learn here, that carries over into
Yes.
their regular school. And also one I forgot to mention, small engines.
Oh, yes.
Which
Oh.
Nice.
which is a fun one, where you have to tear the engine apart, put it back together, and it's got to start.
Yes.
And you're timed on that.
Yes.
Okay, well, I would flunk miraculously, fabulously there.
Oh,
Well, we want to
Yeah.
thank you guys for
Yeah.
coming
Good.
on.
Thanks for having
Allison,
us.
Nolan, and Emma. You guys keep it up. Stay loose. We might have you back here
Yes.
again.
All right.
All
Okay,
right.
but
we appreciate it.
so that was what used to be known as Future Farmers of America, but I was educated tonight as just FFA. So appreciate you guys coming on. Jerry, we're going to take a break,
Yep.
and when we come back, we'll talk some boys basketball. You're watching Knightline, and we're live.
Dreaming of having more space? With a mortgage from First Financial, you're golden. We keep things simple with friendly, personalized service from application to closing. We'll help you find the right mortgage loan to fit your unique needs. Plus, you can qualify for relationship pricing with an eligible checking account. And since we live in the communities we serve, you can count on our local knowledge to make sure the pieces fall into place for an on-time closing. So stop dreaming and start moving with First Financial Bank.
Harmon Sheds are custom built to your specifications and needs. But wait, there's more. Harmon Sheds build privacy fences, decks for your pool, beautifully designed decks for all around your home, and detached pavilions. Let Joe and the crew do all the work, so all you need to do is relax.
This is Rick Fletcher. When my car needs repair, I take it to 715 Simharjan Parkway in Richmond, home of Knuckle Busters. With their ASE certified technicians, why would you go anyplace else? They repair domestic and imports, air conditioners to Z-bars. Knuckle Busters Auto Repair. Call 765-488-1470 and tell them to go Knights!
Are you being bugged about your floral needs? The Leaning Lily, 927 South 9th, is a full-service florist with lots of great gift ideas like wind chimes, potted plants, hanging baskets, teddy bears, and much, much more. Convenient delivery available to residential, the hospital, and local funeral homes. The Leaning Lily has bouquets to say, I love you, to weddings to say, I do. The Leaning Lily, we have you covered. Welcome back to Knightline Live, and we're going to talk a little bit of boys basketball. And if you watch any of the replays, you might think it's Scretti fireworks going off with all the boom babies.
Oh, we were told, Jerry, by the coaching staff that we're going to see some perimeter shooting. Now, in the last few years, we really haven't had. We've had some. All right, you're always going to have some, but not like what we saw opening night against Seton.
I think it was 47 three-point attempts.
Oh my good, that's a lot. For a high school
yeah.
game.
And I think they hit 18 or 19.
So you're looking in the 38 to 40%,
which would be pretty much what normal would be.
Yeah,
anything over 35% is going to be good.
Yeah, and if you can hit 40%, you're on fire.
Yeah.
Speaking of on fire, let's talk about the Seton game. Now, Seton is well coached.
Yeah.
You kind of thought they were going to be very competitive, okay? We didn't know what to expect from our team. We saw a little bit with the Delta scrimmage, but at least for me, we talk a lot about we lost 5 seniors, the whole starting lineup last year. So you knew you had some talent coming back, but you didn't know how it was going to translate to the varsity level. For me, at least in that Seton game, very pleasantly surprised by some of the play. Won the game by 5. It was nip and tuck the whole way.
Oh, yeah.
It was very, very close game.
Down by 7 with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, so it had to come back. And Seton's a pretty good team.
Here's my personal opinion. The difference in that game was that Northeastern is able to go 10 players.
Yeah. Yes.
And
sometimes
Seton,
11 or 12.
And Seton was running 6 and 7.
Yeah, and we're going to run into a lot of the schools that we play. They go 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Brent Ross has always tried to go deep into his roster, and this year it looks like it could be 10 players, or maybe depending on how the game goes, it might be 11 or 12 sometimes. But at least 10 players, and a lot of players had. A big night. Let's talk about Trey Van Landingham on fire from 3.
He was unconscious about midway through the third quarter. He hit 4 threes in a row, I think 5 in the quarter.
Yeah, to start out the second.
It was nuts.
Yeah, so he was on fire. So far, first couple of games, Trey's probably one of the most improved players from last year. That, at least in my humble opinion, looks like he's more athletic. He's grown a little bit taller. It happens. You get bigger and all that. Here's another kid that I thought came out of nowhere. Sophomore Logan Seal had a huge part in that ball game on Wednesday night.
Logan Seal was, as I referred to it, he's like a mosquito. He's just a pest. And he was getting touches on balls, and they were trying to slap him away just like you would a mosquito, and he just stood right in there and kept going. And I think that was a big deal. In fact, defensively, I thought the Knights did a pretty good job.
Yeah, they got after it.
In the last 4 minutes of the game, Sam White had 2 giant deflections when they tried to lob the ball into Harvey, and 2 big plays there. And he had Moore came off the bench, comes in, and he's not in the game 20 seconds, and he bombs a 3.
Yeah.
And so, it was just a great team effort on that.
And that's exactly what we saw. What I witnessed was it was a team effort. Okay?
Absolutely.
You had a lot. Now, Trey Van Landingham, the high scorer, but then again, you had Logan Seal hit a couple threes in clutch time to bring, when the Knights were down 7, to bring them back into the ball game. And he's only a sophomore, but he hit those threes. He was just as cool as a cucumber. So very encouraging to see that. and plus a lot of the other players, just a lot of compliment going all over the floor.
And they hit free throws down the line.
Very good on the free throw line.
And so that's a big deal. And really, in the fourth quarter, when they needed to, very few turnovers.
Yeah,
they unforced errors.
Yeah, they took care of the basketball.
Yeah.
So we did have some players of the game all throughout the game. You and I talked back and forth. Who's our player of the game? Who's our player of the game? And we knew Trey Van Landingham was going to be one of those. But all of a sudden, Logan Seal came out.
Yeah.
Some huge plays. So we had co-players of the game sponsored by Subway Sandwich Shop, and that was Trey and Logan. So let's go to these guys right here. We have that on video. Let's go to that tape right now, Kayla. And I'm here with two Subway players of the game, junior Trey Van Landingham and sophomore Logan Seal. Trey, we'll talk to you first. I tell you what, man, you were on fire from three, hitting those threes. You came out in the second half. Bang, bang, bang. I think I counted 4 of them. Were you feeling it? Tell us what was happening out there.
Just my teammates kept finding me, and I was just open the whole time. So
wow, they find you, but you got to make them too, right? You guys went through a little bit of a dry spell with the threes, okay? Mm-hmm. But then you finally picked it up. We were told you guys are going to be a perimeter shooting team this year. Sam White, your big guy, went out early in the game, didn't play in the whole first half. You had Mason Harvey out there doing his thing, and Moynihan for the Cardinals. They're a pretty good team, by the way, all right?
Yeah.
But how's it feel to get this first one after being down 7? You guys came back and were able to get the victory.
It feels great. We've been waiting for this for forever. Since we started in the summer, we've been waiting.
All right, why don't you hand the headsets over to Logan? All right, come on over here, Logan. Hey, you're only a sophomore. Did anybody tell you that?
Yeah, I get told a lot.
All right, you get told that, but I'll tell you what. Key spot in the game, you come out, you come off the bench. Not only did you hit a couple of threes when you were down, okay, and you guys put it back in, but defensively, man, what were your thought process as you were going out there? What were you trying to do?
I was just trying to dog them. That's what we're told to do.
Yeah.
And I just tried to play my hardest, stay in the game, and get steals, try to shake them up.
Yeah, now you were looking at guys like Moynihan, veteran players over there. Mason Harvey's been around forever, probably as long as I have. No intimidation factor out there, though. You went out there and you played and you did your thing. Does this game right here give you guys confidence as you move forward into the season?
It definitely does. We lost 2 in the summer. People started counting us out because we lost 5 seniors, and we're just trying to fight the adversity.
All right, so they're going to count on you some more. Are you ready for this challenge?
Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations, Trey. Congratulations. Big game. You got a game coming up on Saturday at Monroe Central, so we'll be out there, see if we can get that. All right, I got Logan Seal and Trey Van Landingham. They are our Subway co-players of the game.
And we're back, and a nice interview with the young student athletes there, and a little outgoing and talking about things and all that, and some nerves here and there. Well, whatever.
There's always a little nerves. So Saturday night, the Knights went to Monroe Central, a traditional foe.
Yeah,
we play them every year. They're a decent team. They're going through some transition. In that game, Jerry, it was Landon Scaretti was the high scorer.
Yes,
and he took over. I mean, it was a point where he took over, but he wasn't the only one. And the thing that impressed me, there were a couple things going on. Yeah, they hit some threes. That perimeter shooting was there again. But they went to the basket. You had Day Lundy was going to the basket. You had Scaretti was going to the basket. I think I saw Logan Seal go to the basket. These guys aren't big, okay, and they're going amongst the trees.
Well, the one thing, I wasn't at the game Saturday night, but here's what I want to say, and it just popped into my mind here, and it's been rattling around and finally came out. But the fact that you have, in the Seton game, there was legit 5 3-point shooters on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
At once.
So when you put that out there, and people say, "Well, I need to guard Van Landingham," and so you go to double team here, and then Seal hits, and then we got to guard him. Then Scaretti hits,
Right.
and then Michael Henry hit. It's tough to sit back and guard people when you know good and well that guy over there can shoot the three also. So now you make it go. You got to play one-on-one.
Right.
And there's no double teaming. One-on-one. When it's one-on-one, now you start running screens, and then opens it up for the big guys. And then here's the basket.
Well, you talk about the big guys. You've got Sam White. Now he's had foul trouble. Okay, I'm looking forward to see Sam play a full game. He had two early fouls in the Seton game, and the same thing happened on Saturday night. So really looking forward to Sam getting in a full game to see how that's going to, because he's showing some flashes of that big man, because he is the one true big man. But think of the possibilities. You have these guys hitting the threes. What's that going to open up, Jerry?
It opens the middle up.
Yeah, absolutely. And so looking forward to Sam. Stay out of foul trouble.
Yep.
And learn how to play without fouling, and that's a skill that can be acquired. Okay, but really, he really hasn't had that opportunity to show everything yet.
Correct, but it's going to happen. I'm telling
sure
you, there's going to be one of those games you'll break out and put 20 points on the board.
Absolutely,
and just be like that. And
because you mentioned earlier, he made some huge defensive plays in that Seton game. I mean, that had a huge effect on that
two
game.
plays that was just gargantuous.
And that was coming down the stretch, and it was a 2-point game. The game was on the line, and Sam really made some huge plays in that game. Also he's putting up a few points, all right? But I think if he can stay out of foul trouble, I'm looking forward to see the full game by Sam and see what he can do there.
Now this week we're doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to travel to Centerville and broadcast the game.
Yeah.
And so you'll be able to watch that on
Thursday
night at Centerville boys game. And then also you and who's your co-host going to be?
It's going to be Angie Goebel.
Angie Goebel on Friday night for the girls' game. We broadcast them both nights from over there, and which is our one road trip a year.
Try to go on the road,
and that should be another good ball game because Seton just barely beat Centerville.
Yeah, it's going to be a nip and tuck game. I think it's going to be a close one, and the place will be packed.
It'll be packed.
It'll be the atmosphere will be electric. And then Saturday night, Greenfield Central comes to town. If you want to see some talent, come on in because Greenfield Central is good.
They're no slouch.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the real deal. Excuse me. And we'll have that game also on the Knights Broadcasting Network. So you got two games that you can catch after you've gone to the game and watched, and then go home and say, I want to see that again.
Watch the
replay. And so that's always a wonderful thing.
All right, so I had an opportunity to talk to a couple guys after the Monroe Central game. That's Landon Scaretti and Day Lundy. So let's hear what these guys had to say. I was very impressed by how they came out, won by 17 or 18 points. Very good victory for the Knights. So let's see if they can keep it going this week. But let's go to that video, Kayla, and after that we'll go to commercials and we'll come back and talk a little girls basketball. All right, we're here at Monroe Central. The Knights just pulled off a very impressive 18-point victory over the Golden Bears. I'm here with Landon Scaretti and Day Lundy. Landon, slow start in the first half, but after you guys got rolling in the second quarter, it was just going fast from there. Explain to us what was going on out there.
Well, we get to that bench, and he tells us we got to speed it up. We got to get it at our pace, and that second quarter we went out there, got it at our pace, hit some shots, and got us going.
I tell you what, Day, we put a small lineup out there sometimes, but we're quick. Is that an advantage for you guys with that small lineup out there?
Yeah, I feel like if we play 4 guards, 1 big, we're really a hard team to guard because how fast we are.
Landon, do you guys feel your team looks like it's really coming together? There's a lot of teamwork out there. You guys work on that in practice? Is that something you try to accomplish there?
Yeah, I mean, we all, just go out as a team. Like, we went to watch that Centerville game. We all just do things as a team, and, like, no one gets left out, and it really just brings us together, and it helps us on the court. I mean, you can see we're 2-0 right now, going into a tough week, but we'll see what we can do.
All right, Day. We're not just shooting threes, but we're getting to the basket, at least in this one. Is that a strategy? I know that's your game. You like to get to the basket. Talk about that.
I feel like it's more easier when we get to the rack because since we're more of a physical team, we get fouled a lot. And we're going to knock down our free throws.
All right, fellas, we're 2-0. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? All right, that's Landon Scaretti and Day Lundy. Knights with an impressive 18-point win. Back to you guys in the studio.
And we're back to Knightline Live. And little girls basketball right now. They would travel to Monroe Central for a 2:30 day-night doubleheader, so to speak. That you
Double
had.
admission.
Double admission. Which you expect that. Major League Baseball brought that in, so why not for basketball?
You got to make some money.
So anyway, so the girls basketball go up there. And the first 2 quarters of the game, I think they played about as well as they can play, hitting on all cylinders. And then the dreaded third quarter came, and it just, the fuel pump went out.
Well, I tell you, in those first 2 quarters, you saw how good this team can be. Okay? That's what we expected to see right there. You're running on all cylinders. What I love to see is, I call the Mastriano to Kircher to Mike Sell layup, and that play. They're getting the ball down the floor. They're hitting their shots. Remind you, Jerry, that Justice Slick hasn't seen the floor yet.
Right.
Okay, and she's probably a month away from being able to contribute. So we'll see how that's going to affect. But really, the first 2 quarters, they were fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Third quarter, they struggled. Okay,
the lead got cut from, I think it was 28 at the half,
something like that,
down to 7.
Yeah, actually not that bad.
No, 11.
11 or 12
to 11. Got it cut to 11.
Yeah,
and then you're sitting there going, ooh, and then they started the fourth quarter and just and picked it right back up and ran it right up.
Yeah, right back. They won by 16, but it was a great effort by the Lady
Absolutely,
Knights.
Very good.
Really showing flashes of what can be, of how this team can be. They're starting to, they're taking care of the ball a little better.
Yeah.
Saw some free throws go down, although that's still a little bit of an issue. Hopefully that'll improve, but you did see some of those free throws go down. They're an exciting team.
Well, they're fun to watch.
They're a lot of fun. After the game, I had a chance to talk with that dynamic backcourt duo, Addie Kircher and Ava Mikesell. So let's go to that right now and see what they had to say. We're here at Monroe Central where the Lady Knights just defeated the Bears 61-45 here to go to 4-2 on the season. I'm here with Addie Kircher and Ava Mikesell, that dynamic dual backcourt here for the Lady Knights. Addie, let me go to you first. Boy, we started out the first half. We could do nothing wrong. Explain what was going on in the first half.
Well, honestly, we came in with the right mindset. We were projected to lose by 1, and last year we lost by 2. So we were we're not losing this year, and we're more improved than we were last year, and we're more of a team. So we're able to play together. We're able to do what we know, and we just thrive like that.
Well, you talk about that teamwork. I think that's an important facet of what you guys are doing now. Ava, in the first half, you had rebounds down the court. You guys were flying. Explain to us what was going on in that facet of the game.
I think with our type of team, we're such a big guard combo that we're just looking for kickouts and we're pushing it up and getting those open looks, and it's great for our team with how fast we are. I mean, with me and Addie, one of us tip or goes off, and the other one can just pass it up and get those quick buckets and get us on a roll.
All right, we want to keep it going. We got a tough one on Tuesday night. What are our thoughts with Jay County?
Win.
You're a lady of few words, aren't you?
Yeah.
How about, what are your thoughts on Jay County?
Ava?
Between last year, I mean, they had, what's her name? Rena Schwieterman or something. With her being gone, I think that was like good for us to look at, and now we're ready for hopefully another win. Yeah, we shut them down last year, yeah. So we're ready.
All right. Well, we'll have that on the Knights Broadcasting Network. You can tune in at 5:55 for the JV contest. So that's Ava Mikesell and Addie Kircher. Knights win 61-45. Back to you guys in the studio.
We're back to Knightline Live, and Rick, you know, and there's no rest for the weary. Tomorrow night,
Yeah.
Jay County comes to town, and they're coming in at 4-2.
Yeah, that's going to be a big test for us here to see a good measuring stick, see where you're at in your season. Now, it's not going to count. They're a 3A school.
Yep.
You're not going to see them in a sectional. It's not a conference game, but you want to play well and you want to win. You want to win every game, no matter who you're playing. So it'll be a good test for the Knights to see how they do against this Jay County, traditionally a good program. So we would expect the same thing coming down tomorrow night.
And would like to remind everybody that JV start is at 6:30, not 6 o'clock, but 6:30 tomorrow night. So we'll be on the air about 6:25 if you're unable to make it out to the ball game. It's supposed to be a little chilly out tomorrow night. Is what they said.
We're into winter. We're almost.
We're here, so
almost
bundle up and get your coats on. And then on Friday night,
we'll be at Centerville.
At Centerville, they play at Centerville, and that is a 6 o'clock JV start.
Right, so we'll have those games also at Centerville. I'd like to thank Shane Osting, the AD at Centerville. He's very accommodating, so I appreciate all that he lets us come out and do this, and so we appreciate that. Well, looking forward. Tomorrow night should be a good test for the Knights, Jerry.
Oh, it should be. It should be a great test for the Knights. I tell you what, in Jay County's under a new coach.
Yeah.
Kirk Comer has retired, and so they have a new coach now. So we'll be interested to see how that is shaping up. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow night's ball game. It is at home, so that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and you guys come on out and see it and watch the replay later.
Absolutely. Well, Rick, I think that's about everything, isn't it?
That's everything. I think we're right on time. Well, we're looking at our clock here. We're right on time, Jerry.
Well, I think it's time for good night.
Good night, Gracie.
For Rick Fletcher and Kayla, our executive producer tonight, I'm Jerry Middleton, and you know what? It's been another good night.